Welcome and hello, hello and welcome. Welcome. Hello, hello, welcome. Good evening. Bienvenidos a todos. Happy President's Day, everybody. Oh, it's been an electric one. I was working, of course. You probably were too. I got my side hustles, do my Uber, Walmart greeter, do all kinds of things. But anyway, welcome and hello, guys. Hello and welcome. Of course, it is Un Poco Moss. As you know, they call me Little Danny Cornbread DeCarlo because I'm moist, I'm doughy, and I crumble under pressure. They call me the tugboat. I'm short in stature, pull more than my own weight, and I'm rarely far from my home port. Of course, they call me Stubby Cohiba due to an unfortunate manscaping accident I had with my Vitamix blender just outside of Miami, Florida in the late 1970s. They also call me Mini Water for various reasons. Mini Water is great when you just don't know if you're thirsty. They call me DJ Patchy Drizzle. They call me MC Al Dente. They call me many, many things, but you can also call me by my given Christian name, which is, of course, Tabasco Rojas. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello, hello and welcome, welcome and hello. Jay Bizzles, number one, blue ribbon. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Welcome and hello, guys. Know what I'm saying? Let's go. What's going on, Jay Scofi? Let's Poco indeed. 3, 2, 1. Let's Poco. Guys, I want you to say hello to my little friend. And in this case, my little friend is a die-cast NIO Formula E car. I can also show you my special scale model die-cast NIO EP9 supercar. Oh, it's beautiful, guys. I love to play with my toys. I have my broke down scale model of the EP9 back there. I just go crazy on eBay, and I got friends in China, and they send me stuff. They send me swag because they love me. They love fat people in China. They don't get it. Go, who's this fat guy? This guy could feed our whole village with what he's eating. Who's sexy? Sushi Chef, Jay Scofi, Bizzles, me, um, the EP9. And don't go with that she stuff just because I'm sporting a glorious set of man boobs, guys. I am man boobing for fun and profit all day, every day. A man boobing right to the bank. Nothing you can do about it. Couple of black eyes and a lot of money. Good trade off for me. What's going on? No, I know, Jay Bizzles. I'm just kidding. Thought you were calling me sexy. I was going to be like, hey now. Anyway, I don't know. Guys, I'm totally confused. I'm very tired, but I had to jump on and talk about Neo just because I was bored and I was driving Princess J absolutely crazy because I didn't, I took most of the day off work today. So I was just like, hanging around the house, like cleaning up the garage and just absolutely, getting on her last nerve. So here I am, back in the office late night, working late for you turds, trying to get a few things done. Guys, I want to talk about NIO, ticker symbol NIO. Of course, as you know, this is a Chinese EV company. Known for its battery swap, known for its extensive lineup. I know the new SUV is coming out, guys. It's in winter testing. It's been spotted in the wild. It has massive range. It's the biggest SUV in the history of China. I think it's the biggest electric EV ever, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the Range Rover or something's bigger. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go over 10 reasons to buy NIO. I'm going to go over institutional investors and how they're pulling the wool over your eyes, and the fact that in the latest quarterly filings, if look at the evidence, do not listen to what market makers and their bought and paid for shills in the media, their PR flack, their bought and paid for bloggers. They're just useless sacks of shit that they trot out and tell you what to do. Generally speaking, it is the exact opposite of what you should do. Almost always it comes down to this. They want you to sell the dip and smell the rip. They want to scare the hell out of you at the bottom for no good reason. It doesn't make any sense with this company. It's priced like a dying star. It's priced like it's about to go bankrupt, less than 1x sales, when in fact, it's growing rapidly everywhere that matters. Margins, top line, bottom line, swaps, everything. Vehicles surpassed 1 million vehicles. They did 150,000 swaps in a single day, first day of summer festival. Of course, they were giving away swaps for free to Envo owners, but hey, why not? Buy an L90, you should get swaps for free. I'm just going to make the case because I just haven't laid out the bull case for NIO. And a lot of people, oh, did you sell your share? I have been buying NIO. I was just buying NIO like down at $4.50. I bought quite a few shares. I picked up about another almost 5,000 shares just not long ago. And if you look at this chart, guys, it's very clear that this thing after earnings, okay, was coming in about $5.70. They dropped it back to 5 area, and they've been algo holding it here at the 5 area now for 3 months. And I say it all the time. Why do they keep a stock at the same lows? Why do they hold a stock at the lows? It's to demoralize you. It's for you to say, oh, this is fixed. This is rigged. It's never going to go up. I'm just going to give up and sell the bottom because I'm a horrible, weak, paper handed douchebag that should not even be in this game in the first place. Because I give away my money to market makers who are accumulating NIO. Would it surprise you guys to learn that just in the most recent filings, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Bank of America were all absolutely loading the boat? Absolutely loading the boat. Would it surprise you to learn that D. Shaw has a huge new position they opened up just recently? Would it surprise you to learn that Susquehanna is absolutely loading the boat? But the narrative is dead stock, never going up, too risky. Buy Rivian, buy Lucid, buy QuantumScape, buy any of these American companies that are, absolutely going bankrupt. NIO's going to make a profit this quarter. Demand is strong with NIO, and NIO has the most compelling lineup, the most compelling USP, the most compelling moat. Yeah, CATL's knocking at the back door, but NIO's got almost 4,000 swaps, and their customers passionately love the battery swap. They love these cars. NIO in China, it's like a cult following. That's how much. There's no other brand. And then these one-offs, they make one car and they put a little, square back on it. It's the exact same car, whether it be, Tesla or Huawei, some of these cell phone companies. It's one car. It's one SKU. I don't care how they dress it up. And you're only going to you can move a lot of units at once. That's kind of the same as a one-line business. It's basically like a Robinhood versus SoFi. Robinhood has all their eggs in one basket, which is these volatile, risky retail madmen, Texas Hold'em first round out in the World Series of Poker that your dad bought in for you. Your dad owned a successful business making window coverings. You decide you're going to go out and, day trade. You lose all his money. You put him in a home. Now he's out on the streets wandering around, begging for change and stale bread. While you're sitting in a fake Armani suit doing gaggers of Peruvian wham wham, wandering around Monte Carlo trying to find Felix. Anyone seen my golden retriever? Anyway, guys, welcome and hello. Got Gilgo here. Gilgo. Uncle Bruce always said don't buy Chinese stock. Hopefully this stock blows up on the upside. Yeah, I mean, I respect Uncle Bruce, but I just have to, respectfully disagree on this. I think this is a very good company. I do understand the fears buying a Chinese stock, but if I'm honest, guys, and this is just me being honest, I feel like the Chinese government is a lot more stable right now than a lot of other governments. I feel they make sensible rules and regulations to have healthy competition in the EV industry. And I just don't see the fear. I think China wants to be the world leader, dominate the entire world in EV. And, obviously they're giving, I think, technological help in terms of full self-driving, robotics to some of these private companies. Many of them are, quasi partially state owned or just actually, partially state owned in terms of these partnerships with Swap, the factories, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not at all disagreeing with Uncle Bruce that there's, enhanced risks, layers, ADRs, Chinese government, trade wars, potential war in Taiwan, everything going on with Russia, global politics, Viktor Orban, Tiny Wings, G7, whatever, Mark Carney, Gordie Howe Bridge, whatever it is, guys. There's always tumult. There's always turmoil. There's always a guy with a micro wing and a megaphone out there just telling you to be afraid. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Why? They're Chinese. This is my friend, Mr. Wang. No offense. There's a song in Boogie Nights. Oh, don't worry about him. He's Chinese. It's a guy running around in a pair of underwear throwing firecrackers. You guys remember that one, don't you? Hello and welcome. Anyway, guys, I'm just gonna run through the facts. Okay, here's a chart. I mean, it couldn't be any clearer. NIO runs way up to just hell and gone, absurd levels. I don't know, $70, whatever it was, goes all the way back down into the threes. You can see back here in 2022, this line was basically working as support, and then it had this huge drawdown from $20 all the way to, I don't know, about 7 or 8. And then this line started functioning as resistance. It broke through once on this huge pump, but the algo very quickly brought it back down under the line, whence it stayed until this little mini breakout in August 2025, and it's been above this line ever since. Now, aside from this line, if you come into a little bit more present day, you'll see, I think, what a critical level $5. Let me just delete this line. Um, you'll see what a critical level $5 is. You can see it here. It's been functioning kind of resistance, 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 with a couple of breakouts. Now, I would argue this was a formulaic middle finger, you know, head and shoulders, dandruff special. You call it a Selsun Blue. You call it whatever you want. Call it a Preparation H. Call it a Summer's Eve. Call it a Summer's Day. Worst stock ever. HRF3Z does not like it. Sounds like he's naming some kind of defunct Subaru sports car that nobody wants to buy. Get a Miata. Just get a Miata. Just go with it. Be who you are. Anyway, that's not important right now. No, I know a lot of people hate this stock, and that's cool. I'm not trying to get anybody to buy it. If you want to short it from 5, I think you're an absolute moron, but a lot of people would say the same about me, so whatever. I'm honestly not trying to this is not FEPO, guys. This is not FEPO. I'm just giving you my opinions. It's an autobiography. It's about all my experiences. So I think the chart is clearly look at this volume that came in the other day. 130 million shares and 100 million shares. And where are those shares going, guys? Just take a look at the facts. Take a look at the facts. Data points. Okay, fund sentiment score. This is a proprietary calculation by Fintel. Very, very accurate if you watch the filings come later. 87.2. 1,066 out of 32,000 stocks they rank. So this is in the top 3% of scores. And if you don't know what this is, the fund sentiment score, FKA ownership accumulation score, finds the stocks that are being most bought by funds. It is the result of a sophisticated, multi-factor, quantitative model that identifies companies with the highest levels of institutional accumulation. The scoring model uses a combination of total increase in disclosed owners, change in portfolio allocations, and other metrics. So this is one of the top stocks they're accumulating. Look at what they do, not what they say. Don't listen to the PR flack. Okay, yes, UBS did sell 15% of its position. UBS is not one of these big, powerful traders. I have no respect for UBS. They're basically a glorified insurance company. You and us, UBS. Well, fuck you. Sell your shares and get the fuck out. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm not bitter. Not bitter. BNP Paribas, another one of the biggest shareholders, up by 16%. Susquehanna, another one of the most successful traders out there, increased their calls by 26%. Just look at these filings, guys. These are recent filings. Jane Street, they have almost 20 million shares. Am I on mute? No, I'm not. Shares I would venture to say are smarter, which I have some of, but 7 to 10 leaps feel like fun. Yeah, I'm not playing that many leaps right now, guys. I got just bitten too many times on these options. Leaps are fine. Just give yourself a few quarters to work, because market makers will definitely work you over. Morgan Fudley, 5% down from an average cost of 13. They're basically a bunch of fucking clowns. Morgan Fudley is absolute clown car bullshit. I'm sure they make money, but I don't know. I don't know how. Goldman Sachs, here you go. Filing on February 10th. They increased their share count by 58%. 58%. D.E. Shaw and Company, brand new position at $5.36. 14 million shares. Guys, look at Citadel. If you don't know who Citadel is, don't invest in stocks, because you're fucking clueless. You're on an island somewhere. They increased their calls by 50%. JP Morgan Chase. Just look at the facts. I am a Joe Friday investor. I am an evidence based investor. That's all I care about. All I care about is what is Goldman doing? What is BlackRock doing? What is JP Morgan doing? And they are driving the bus. And then when I know they're about to run it up, I get on the bus with everything I have. I let them run it up. If I think it's long term, maybe I'll stick with it. If I'm, trading it, I'll get out as high as I can when I hit my profit targets. But, look at what they do, not the bullshit they say, not these timely downgrades so they can buy your shares as cheap as possible. JP Morgan Chase filing February 11th increased their NIO share count by 268%. Keep going. Now, Citadel also did increase their puts by 29%, but they increased their calls by 49%. So that's bullish. Jane Street, another one of the biggest, most successful traders, often short long. They decreased their short position, decreased their puts by 20%. Now, we'll see down here a little bit further down what they did with their long shares. Bank of America, February 3rd, 13F, 13A, increased their share count by 157%. Guys, why are all the biggest, most successful traders, mega banks, why are they just loading the shit out of NIO to the point their boats are absolutely sinking under the weight of all these shares? Renaissance Technology, another one, 15% increase. Citadel, we talked about Citadel just a moment ago. They're not just playing calls. They're not just increasing their calls by 50%. Well, this is an old filing, guys. Sorry about that. I don't mean to mislead you. I didn't notice that. This was their filing for last quarter. But I'm going to guess when we see their filing like tomorrow that they're increasing this even further. Now, I could be wrong about that. So I don't want to, get ahead of myself. Now, here's BlackRock. Here's my other favorite besides Goldman in terms of where to follow these shysters. These tricksters, hucksters, flim-flam men. These guys are doing like those revivals in the churches. It's on the tents. Anyway, guys, February 12th, BlackRock increased their share count by 152%. I don't know what people are looking at. Signal, not noise. But these are just facts. And you want some more data points that prove my point? Okay, here you go. Let's look at the short interest. Okay, you go back. This is an 18-month chart. You go back to November 2024, short interest is 15%, dips down to 11, then back up almost to 17% in April 2025. 17%. Slowly, over the last 10 months, that number's worked all the way down below 7%. From 17% short interest last April, pardon me, I need a mini water, to below 7% now. And then on top of that, they're naked short up the wazoo, Short interest, 141, about 142 million shares. Shares on loan, only 87 million. Does that look like they're going to attack the stock from 5, or does that look like they're flipping to run it up? Given all these filings you've just seen. Think about it. Use logic. Be a Joe Friday investor. Just the facts, man. Be a man boob investor. I don't know how that helps you, but certainly not helping me any. Unless you're in a frontal collision, your airbag fails, and all you have to fall back on is those man boobs. I think you'd rather have those man boobs go right into the steering wheel than your teeth, but that's just me. I've bruised a man boob or two in a rear end collision. It's not fun. Oh, what's up, No Tracks Full? Citadel is like a fancy castle indeed. They've got a moat, as does NIO, on their castle. Would you buy Leaps? No, John. I wouldn't buy Leaps right now at $5. I mean, for $5,000, you could pick up 1,000 shares that I think are going to be worth $20,000. I mean, I think this is a prime candidate to Forex, and that's what I mean. Asymmetrical upside. This thing has been crashed from 70 to 3, and then they've been holding it back at 5 after some really good news, some really positive trends. They've been holding it back at 5 for 3 months. Why do they hold the stock at the lows? Use your logic. Don't take, just use your brain. Use that one brain cell that's left after, too many Pabst Blue Ribbons and bong rips and I don't know what else. Just stress. Stress kills. Stress kills, Larry. You know what the best cure for stress is. Don't say it, Hank. You guys fans of the Larry Sanders Show? I sure am. Anyway, that was a hilarious show. I was a big Gary Shandling fan. This is a hilarious stand-up. Just can I I don't know. Gary Shandling was one of my favorite stand-up comedians. Just absolutely brilliant man. Rest in peace. One of the people that inspired me to go into comedy. Quite an unsuccessful run I had, but that's neither here nor there. Um, what else was I going to talk about? I completely forgot. But yeah, I was going to go over kind of 10 reasons I'm looking at NIO. There's a good article in Motley Fool came out. I don't really care about it. But there's so many reasons. NIO just set the single day battery swap service record, 147,000 battery swaps. Another critical deal. NIO sets battery, well, that's the same. NIO's battery company successfully issues world's first battery powered REITs. This is fascinating. NIO's battery assets management, Miratari, it's Winnang in Chinese, has successfully issued the first real estate investment trust based on power batteries. The CITC Securities Winning Power Greenbacked Asset Special Plan Technology Innovation was launched February 11, 2026, with support from the Shanghai Stock Exchange, raising $77 million. The financial instrument represents the first asset-backed securitization specifically designed for EV batteries under a rental model. I know bears will have a field day with this. They'll say it's fuzzy math. They tried this before. Since established, but this is actually good news. Read the article. Very creative, very good news. Now, if we continue down this path, let's see. Um, this is key, guys. The ES9. This is going to be the most popular car in China for, the ballers, the big ballers, the people that just want to get out there and be looked at. NIO's upcoming flagship electric SUV ES9 has been spotted in China's regulatory filings. According to the filings, the vehicle will feature a 102 kilowatt battery pack, which isn't actually that big, but that's still, it's going to get 600 and 600 plus kilometers of range. ES9 represents EO's latest entry in the premium electric SUV segment. It's absolutely huge. The measurements position it as China's largest electric SUV, even surpassing the size of the ultra-luxury Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Technical highlights of the ES9 include 3 LiDAR sensors, NIO's Aquila sensing system, and an adaptive chassis system capable of automatic height adjustments. The vehicle adapts NIO's latest family design language, featuring a shark nose front fascia, full witch taillight, and all that stuff. It's a really good-looking car. I mean, it looks a lot like the ES8, but this thing is going to be super, super popular. You remember the what was that called? The ET9, their super luxury, jet type sedan, the executive, sort of their limousine. It sold out, I think, in a very, very short order. They're very limited production. So the front motor produces 241 horsepower, while the rear motor delivers 456, combining for 700 horsepower, guys. 700 horsepower flagship SUV coming at you. I don't want to get you. I just want to provide you with some good, sensible information on a great stock here, NIO stock. In the fourth quarter last year, NIO finally achieved profitability. Listen to this. NIO is achieving profitability this last quarter, 11 years after its founding, driven by robust sales of a flagship model, the ES8, which is a very high margin, high-end vehicle. Extreme demand, sold out. The wait times are coming down, but there's still a wait time. It's still exclusive. You still can't get one. You want one, but you can't get one. It's a velvet rope situation, and you and your tiny wing are on the outside looking in. They got your man boobs and your ugly kisser pressed up against the glass, and William Lee's sitting there giving you the big finger. Fuck you guys. No ES8 for you. Come back later. Come back in 15. Dave's not here, man. No, this is Dave. Nah, Dave's not here. And the upcoming ES9 is even larger. Currently, NIO sales are heavily reliant on the ES8, which is and they're talking. I've heard people talk about that concentration risk, and they don't talk about the fact that Tesla only sells one goddamn car. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Guys like off-road vehicles. Know what I mean? Guys in a bowling league. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? You and the old lady like to party? Know what I mean? In 2026, NIO set to introduce a completely new model, Onvo L80, alongside the ES9. Besides these two, other new models slated for 2026 will be refreshed versions of existing vehicles, including an updated ES7. Let me make sure I'm not on mute. Sorry, I'm very paranoid. A lighter equipped version of the Onvo, a 9-inch high powered variant of Firefly. And remember, something else I saw, which is of critical importance, was I think they're just about to launch the new generation of swap stations, and they did issue a recall over a black screen issue on it. So that's not good, but I don't think that's really a big deal. The ES9 was spotted in a while. They're talking about the length of it. They hit their 1 millionth vehicle about a month ago. China launches NEV Intelligent Vehicle Lighting Quality Initiative, Geely at over 30 participants. NIO delivers 30,000th ES9. That was like 2 months ago. So we won't keep going because these are old stories at this point. But the point is, NIO is on the cutting edge. NIO has a critical advantage with battery swap. Not only do people love battery swap and it's convenient and it helps, the regulators meet all these, battery inspection conditions, but just it's a far more attractive value proposition for the buyer. And also it eliminates the two probably major anxieties associated with owning an electric vehicle. Number one, of course, is range anxiety. And number two is the fact that you're worried about your tiny wang. No, that's not it. Perhaps I'm projecting. Number two is that you're worried about the fact that that fucking battery is going to go bad on you right after your warranty ends. And you're going to be sitting there holding a brick that you can't do anything with. And they want 20 grand for a new battery. And they got you bent over a barrel and they're giving you a guided tour of the fucking 50 states. You know what I mean? You don't have to fear any of that with NIO. Have no fear. William Lee is here. Oh, I get so angry when I talk about NIO because I just feel this company is at such an inflection point. This is the time to buy, but they don't want you to buy here. They want you to sell here. Whenever you see the fund sentiment score just through the roof, these most important institutions, Goldman, JP Morgan, Citadel, Jane Street, Bank of America, Susquehanna, Wolverine, all loading the boat at once. You see the fact that they're naked short. You see short interest plummeting from 17% to under 7. You see 141 million shares on loan and only 87 million, you see 141 million shares sold short with only 80 some million shares on loan. Put the pieces together. This is not a tough puzzle. This is like one of those kids, mazes they give you on a placemat at IHOP. No, go over there. Let him do it. Nah, I can get this one. Got real dumb parents. Just trying to get out ahead of you and get that maze, try to scoop you. It's like the dad who just goes in for aggressive, Matumbo, finger wag, shot block. Like a 5-year-old kid. Yeah, not in my house. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about, guys. But all I think is they're going to send it. They're going to send this up. The valuation is ridiculous given the growth. And the major knock on this company was, they're burning so much cash. They're going to have to do all these dilutive money raises. Well, I understand it's not a GAAP number. I understand it's, a non-GAAP profit. But let's face it, everything is trending crazy in the right direction. Just a few quarters ago, they were talking about, they could go bankrupt if they don't, raise more money. The cash burn is just insane. They have got cost controls in the last, year and a half have just been revolutionary for this company. They completely got their shit together. They realized the excesses of youth are no way to run a company in a cutthroat industry with extreme competition where margins are everything. No more free haircuts, William Lee. No more free haircuts on the company. No more furniture. We don't need artisan furniture. No more NIO cheese wheels. No more NIO wine. No more NIO flat pack TV stands. No more NIO penis pumps, robotic penis pumps they were selling. I got one. I got one on eBay. Doesn't work. Does not work. That's not my bag, baby. The original Austin Powers was actually pretty funny. Mike Myers is a funny guy. It's kind of weird. Canadian. Get him across that Gordie Howe Bridge. Shedding this bridge is like the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life. Our foreign policy is absolutely, completely fucked. I don't know. Just makes absolutely no sense. But anyway, I won't go into that. If you guys haven't, seen this bridge saga, Canada paid for the entirety of this like $5 billion bridge. I think it's Winnipeg or something, Windsor. And one family owns the competing bridge. It's been there for a century. It's corruption at its finest, guys. I mean, it's just crazy. But automakers are pulling strings, steel, aluminum. And actually, they were talking about invoking Article 17, Carney was in Canada, which would like essentially cut off power to the Northeast United States, Boston, New York City. Already, Canada's been doing these routine inspections on the bridges going the other way. Last report was there was like a 7-mile line of semis waiting to cross with auto parts into Canada. They're just, they're like, okay, you're going to close the bridge. We're going to really slow roll you to make it impossible for you guys to do business. And the automakers are on the phone with the senators and the White House telling them that our factories are going to shut in 2 days. You understand what just-in-time logistics and manufacturing are? I don't think some of these guys get it. I really don't think they understand what the fuck they're doing. I'm starting to think that. I used to think, okay, maybe this Lutnick guy. I mean, Peter Navarro's an imbecile. I'm sorry. That guy is out of his fucking mind. I studied economics and I also studied political science. With both and with an emphasis on international relations. I might understand these things a little bit better than I let on, but this is no way to conduct foreign policy. Again, sorry to go off on a rant, but I've just been kind of studying the implications of this for the last several hours while I was bored. So anyway, that's neither here nor there, guys. I don't mean to go off on a bridge tangent. I like to build bridges, not to tear them down, but I also think some parts of our diplomacy right now are just completely wrongheaded and cuckoo. What you're doing is the Chinese just struck a deal to sell their canola oil, or the Canadians just struck a deal to sell all their canola oil to China. And then, interestingly enough, the Canadians have agreed, essentially in principle, to start importing Chinese EVs with like a 15% tariff. And China's lowering tariffs on, I think, Canadian steel and soybeans and a bunch of other stuff. So they're finding a market for their oil. I mean, I think it was 3 tankers full of Canadian crude oil on the way to refineries in the Northeast. And the minute Trump laid down these demands, I mean, the demands he wanted Canada to sign in order to open this bridge were just absolutely insane. He wanted them to peg their currency to the dollar. In a sense, just give up their sovereignty to open a bridge. And Carney just walked out. It's like, fuck you. No way. And then they turned the oil tankers to Rotterdam. And they're going to sell the fucking oil to Germany. And they're going to sell their lithium to Japan and China, our enemy. We're at war with Canada. We're at war. We're at economic war with Canada. Does this make sense to anybody? If it does, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Straight up. If you think this is a good way to conduct foreign policy, trade negotiations, you're a moron. Sorry. But many people have said I'm a moron, so I guess it's all a matter of point of view. Anyway, stuff just it pisses me off because it has very real consequences for the very, blue collar factory workers that this administration was supposed to, protect and lift up and enhance and bring all this stuff back. And instead he just can take a grenade and throw it into the system. It's not a fucking monkey wrench, it's a grenade. Doesn't make any sense. The markets want stability. And I know people are going to go, oh, it's just a brilliant negotiating tactic. No, it's an asinine negotiating tactic. It's an idiotic negotiating tactic. And the guy running Canada was, not only did he run the, Bank of Canada, he also ran the Bank of England. He ran the G7. This guy understands economics, world trade, money flows, probably better than anyone else on earth. He's like, fuck around and find out. We're going to turn the lights off and sell all the shit you need to other people. Straight up. Straight up. You beat me straight up. Pay that man his money. What kind of accent is that, Teddy? You ever seen that where Bill Hader does his John Malkovich impression for John Malkovich? He's like, hello, I'm John Malkovich. He's like, I don't sound anything like that. He's like, you sound exactly like this. It's very funny. Bill Hader's, his impressions are fucking amazing. I love that guy. Plus, he's just such a nice guy. Anyway, guys, enough of my ranting. I guess there really wasn't that much point to this whole thing. No, you guys want to hear my like top 10 reasons to vote for Pedro, or I mean buy NIO? Probably not. Yeah, it's a typical, love boat captain. He's a globalist POS. What does that mean exactly? What does that mean? I don't, it's just a meaningless bunch of crap. Why is he a piece of shit? Because he's not going to agree to some ridiculous extortion in order to open a bridge that they signed an agreement to open with the governor of Michigan and years and years ago, and they paid for the whole thing. And because one of Trump's campaign donors who owns the other bridge gave a bunch of money and then called the White House, and then immediately they did a 180. I mean, Trump's first term, he said this bridge, he was praising the bridge to no end. Yeah, okay, he's a globalist piece of shit. You don't like Canada. Come live here. I think you're completely wrong. I know a ton of Canadians. I love Canada. SoFi crashing? Wouldn't be surprised. What is SoFi doing? Why would SoFi be crashing? NIO's down a penny. But anyway, no, I'm not saying Carney's like the greatest guy or Canada has the greatest system. What I'm saying is markets, international relations, trade negotiations, they should not be conducted in this manner where you say something we completely agreed to, signed agreements, now we're going to blow it all up and use it as a tool to, extort our neighbor. I don't like it. I just don't like it. But that's me. And I respect your views, Love Boat Captain. I've never lived in Canada. I love Canada. It's a beautiful place, but I've never lived there. So you're right. I don't have firsthand knowledge. Maybe it's an absolute shithole. Maybe it's horrible. People I know in Canada really like it. I know they have issues with the healthcare system and the waiting, and some of the taxes and some of the regulations are completely overbearing and stuff. And I get that. I'm not trying to say Canada is a perfect system. I'm saying as an American, how we conduct our foreign policy, how we conduct our trade negotiations has to show stability. It has to put, us on solid footing for the future. You can't just do everything with this, chaotic. I just don't think this works forever. This sort of madman theory. It's all about leverage, of course. And Trump probably will gain concessions. He definitely will. You say, well, that's a good thing. You just put a gun to their head. That's leverage. You make all these demands. That's leverage. But Carney just walked out of the White House and said, we're just going to sell this stuff to other people. He's making a free trade agreement right now with Mexico. They're just going to bypass the United States. The United States we're isolating ourselves in the world economy. Everything's going to cost more. Tariffs don't work. They just did a study that said 90% of the cost of tariffs were borne by U.S. consumers and U.S. companies. It's a tax. It makes no sense. And I know people are going to yell and scream, oh, you hate Trump. Yeah, I absolutely do not. This guy came into office. I agreed with the vast majority of his agenda, making, other NATO members pay their fair share, pay for their own defense, at least a reasonable portion of it. Makes total sense. Stop getting ripped off on these trade agreements. Makes sense. Secure the border. Makes sense. I'm all for it. Deport violent, horrible criminals and gang members and the worst of the worst. I'm all for it. But the reality of what's happened, how all that's been implemented, is not what it was advertised as. And I think this is weakening us. This is weakening our position in the world. That's why I don't like it. But anyway, if SoFi is crashing, it's far more important. Say it's crashing 14 cents. SoFi is such a volatile stock. Went up 1.6% Friday and it's down 14 cents. So I wouldn't be very concerned about that at all. Obviously, the algo hold on SoFi has been at 1950. I mean, that's a 5-day chart right there, guys. That's a 5-day chart. Okay. So they bounced it off this level on 2.5, moved it up a little bit, and then bounced it back off the same level on 212. And again, I'll repeat the same thing I always repeat. Why do they bang a stock off the same lows over and over? Do you think it's because the market makers want to sell at those lows, or do you think it's because they want you to sell at those lows? Sorry, guys, I can't get to all these comments. Let me read your anti-Canada, anti-California stuff. Sean Smith, Cali in Canada sucks, bro. Cali is the worst state. I own a lot of businesses in California, and there are some aspects of it that are tough, and I completely agree with you on that. It is a tough place to do business, and a lot of big companies are leaving, and that's a very, very valid point. I'm not delusional. I'm no lover of the Democratic Party, believe me. I'm no fan of Captain Yoga Pants Gavin Newsom. So the fucking bullet train to nowhere, endless, ridiculous regulations on everything we have in the state. The most expensive fuel, the most expensive housing, the most expensive healthcare, education system going to hell in a handbasket, infrastructure, hell in a handbasket. You've seen how we fight fires. It's so ineffective because the people in charge, I mean, Karen Bass in LA, some of these Democratic politicians, I wouldn't hire them to run a lemonade stand because I don't think they even understand the first thing about getting out of bed in the morning and putting on their shoes. I think a lot of aides run them. I mean, not Newsom. He's a smart guy, but he's way left of where anything I find sensible. I've always been kind of a centrist. I try to think of practically about what works and what makes people's lives better, what's better for the economy, what's better for growth, what's better for jobs. But I am concerned about things like the environment. I mean, I believe climate change is real. Forgive me. I believe in science. I guess I'm kind of a mixed bag, kind of a hodgepodge, kind of a fat wild card. Kind of like Mysterio, if you're a South Park fan. What's up, Bounce Back Blaze? How you guys doing? Yeah, I don't mean to get too political on this show because I'm not really a political animal. I'm more of a practical person. It's how I try to invest too. Joe Friday investor. I wish we could get back to a practical point where we're trying to solve problems. Guys, know when we last ran a surplus? It was in the Clinton administration. And do you know why we ran a surplus? Was it because Clinton was such a good president? No. It was because the Republicans and the Democrats came together to make good policy. Welfare reform, tax policy, all this stuff. And it was the contract for America. It was like, was that Newt Gingrich and Bill Clinton? All these people they were actually trying to make policy. They were actually concerned with deficits. They were actually concerned with crime. They were passing bipartisan crime bills. I mean, that's how politics is supposed to be done. I'm not saying you should agree necessarily with Bill Clinton or Newt Gingrich or, Donald Trump or Gavin Newsom or anybody else. But what politicians should do is work for the people to constructively solve problems that make our lives better instead of just endlessly sniping at each other, enriching themselves, corruption, whether it's from the crypto side or the union side. I don't like corruption at all. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's SEIU or, you know, Kim.com or, you know, whatever. I just think the whole system's fucked and broken in America. But maybe it's even worse in Canada. I don't know. I have studied the Canadian political system to a certain extent, but I studied the German system and others, Latin America, quite a bit more. So I have to admittedly say I'm no expert, not even close to an expert on Canada. I don't know that much about it. So you guys that are from there and know more than me, I will have to defer to you on that. But it's the taxes in Cal business. Oh, believe me, bounce back plays. I paid last year state income tax. It's like 15%. It was a big number. My state income tax was like a third of my federal income tax. And if I add up property tax, federal tax, state tax, all the taxes I pay, I probably pay 70% of my income in taxes. Am I happy about that? No. No, I'm not. I think I'm overtaxed, and that's not even counting gas taxes, which in California are just insane. I mean, I saw a fucking article. It just absolutely pissed me off about California is one of the only states that allows these Americans with Disabilities Act nuisance lawsuits. And there's like 4 law firms that file thousands and thousands and thousands of lawsuits. California has this law that, you know, small, tiny businesses, they don't even get to cure the violation before they have to pay out these extortion settlements. Only California does this. Like all the other 49 states allow small businesses with like less than 60 employees, they give them 3 months to cure the violation instead of giving them, you know, settlements that are going to bankrupt them. It's only California. There's so many stupid fucking things that are only in California. But I love this state. I absolutely love it. I was born here. I've lived here my entire life. I'm going to die here. I love California. I live on the beach and I live in a very affluent, probably the most affluent part of the entire state. So, you know, it's a lot different than say a lot of other places where there's a lot of problems. My world is like a fucking utopia paradise. So beach, tennis, concert, fine dining. I don't know. So yeah, maybe I'm living in a utopia, but I used to live in my fucking truck. I used to be homeless. So I've seen both sides of that coin, but I worked my way up. Yeah, Texas, but bounce back. Texas is fucked. Texas is absolutely fucked right now for a variety of. I don't want to go into too much depth, but the education system in Texas, the healthcare system, the legal system, there are so many issues in Texas. And Florida is the absolute worst. The housing market is collapsing in Florida. You can't get insurance on condos. You can't build anything. And the taxes are nuts there. If you look at the property tax, there's no state income tax, but Florida is fucked completely. If you look at this, it's not even close. I know a lot of people in Florida. It's a bloodbath over there. So, you know, there's plenty of states that are better run, I think, than Texas, Florida, or California. I think the politicians are a little bit extreme. I think maybe Texas is better run than Florida or California, perhaps, if I had to rank the order. But California, yeah, a lot of our policies are just madness. For instance, I'm in LA County, which is the worst of the worst, and I want to open a barbecue restaurant. That's my dream. You know, you think, oh, you know, you can do it. Why? You'll employ people. It's great. People love, you know, restaurants. You'll pay taxes. No, you can't do it because you can't put a smoker outside because the AQMD will come and fine you $1 million. What's the AQMD? The Air Quality Management District. You guys ever heard of the California Coastal Commission? Try to build something on the coast. It's virtually impossible. Trust me, I know. I've done it. I have dealt with these onerous regulations in this state my entire fucking life, and I hate them. I don't love everything about California. But the reason this ADA thing pissed me off is because, you know, a good friend of mine who has owned a small restaurant for 30 plus years is they have to close their restaurant because they got hit with 2 of these nuisance ADA suits and they have to settle for like 25 grand or whatever. They don't have it. So they just said, we just have to close the business because they're just going to keep suing us until we're out of business. They sue you once because, it's things that they sue you for is like your bathroom sink is too low, so a wheelchair can't slide under it. Or your cash register counter is 1 inch too high, so they can't see over it. Or your threshold that is supposed to be maximum a 1/4 inch is 3/8 of an inch. Give us 25 grand. It's just fucking disgraceful. People that have worked their fingers to the bone for 3 decades and they're put out of business by these fucking lawyers. Oh, it pisses me off. Can you have a barbecue side business without notifying the EPA? Well, the EPA is, as you know, you're joking, but it's federal. Wouldn't the state income tax generally make up for any excess property tax? In which state, Jay Bizzle? In California, we have the best of both worlds. We have obscenely high state income tax and absurdly high property tax. So yeah, Florida, I guess they have no state income tax, but it doesn't change the budgetary realities. You still have to pay for schools. You still have to pay for law enforcement. You still have to pay for state government. You still have to pay for the highways. Yeah, they got to pay for all the same stuff we got to pay for out here. But to do that with no income tax, you have to raise the money somehow. And you raise it on the backs of these people that come down here and buy these condos and think it's a goddamn panacea, not knowing the fact that their insurance rates are going to 5x. Trust me, guys. I know people in Florida that are trying to sell a condo they bought for $700,000 and they can't get $200,000 for it because they're doing all these seismic retrofits because that one condo building collapsed. You can't sell them. You can't insure them. Half of them, you can't even live there. Some of them have been condemned. You can't live it. The insurance won't pay out. It's just a joke. The housing, Florida's in big trouble, but I don't know. So is California, perhaps. California's worse. I'm from Cali. I guess it depends on your point of view. I disagree. I've been in Florida a ton. I know a lot about Florida. I know a lot about their government. I would never trade, my home in California for a home in Florida. Never. My house in California is going to double again over the next 7-8 years. If I bought something in Florida, you don't know. You don't know. Look at the insurance market in Florida. Honestly, look at the numbers. Premiums have gone up 7-8x in the last 5 years. Now, I know they've gone up 2-3x in Cali too, so I'm not saying, it's no Swiss picnic over here either. Sorry about the rant, guys. I don't know. And there's a lot of other states besides Florida, Texas, California. And all states have their problems. All states, have their highs and lows. But I just think states that are a little bit more moderate, not super liberal, not super conservative, that sort of are more practical. And again, that's how I try to handle things practically, evidence-based. Anyway, guys, sorry about the political rant, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. A friend of mine just moved to Cali, started a $50K mortgage, even after paying down $40K. Yeah, I mean, dude, if I told you what my mortgage started out as, you wouldn't believe me, but I refied down to a 15-year fixed at 2.75 some years ago, and I really got lucky there because I've been able to I think I'm only about 3 years from paying off this shit box. Oh, yeah, it's actually not a mass exodus, Mr. Premium the option. That's a myth. Most wealthy people aren't going anywhere. Now, they do employ tax strategies to minimize their taxes here. But trust me, the mansions here are full. They're building them all the time. I'm always in Palos Verdes, Beverly Hills, Malibu, or before the fires, Malibu, Manhattan Beach, Laguna Beach. That's where my clients are. The money is here in droves. For every wealthy American that leaves, there's like 5 wealthy immigrants who come in. Just don't believe that. The exodus is a myth. I mean, businesses, yes, some are leaving. That's partially true. but California's economy overall just keeps expanding proportionally bigger and bigger. I think we're back to like the third or fourth largest economy in the world if we were a country. California is a juggernaut. California feeds America. California fuels America. There's a lot of good things about California too. I know there's a lot of bad. There's a lot of good. That's kind of everything is, everything is nuanced. As long as you go, oh, California's shit, it's terrible. Same with all states. Texas has its great points, it has its weak points. A lot of economic freedom, which I love, just freedom in general to do what you want, business wise, lack of regulation, lack of heavy handed overreach in government. But you have a lot of problems in Texas. Really bad education outcomes, really bad healthcare outcomes, teen pregnancy, mortality rates. There are issues, but no state's perfect. California, far from perfect. But, my house, my city, I just absolutely love it. But I'm probably in a little bit of a more conservative little mini enclave, I guess. I don't know. At least centrist. Anyway, gold falling like a rock. What the hell was I talking about? I love Charleston, South Carolina, Jay Bizzles. I absolutely love Charleston. That's one of my favorite. Me and Princess Jay took a trip down there, and I was looking at some business opportunities, but it was also kind of a vacation. Oh my god. My buddy who used to live in one of my apartment buildings, actually in Hermosa Beach, um, don't have that building anymore, but I still have my friend. um, he runs a property management company out there where they do short-term vacation rentals on this island outside of Charleston, and it is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my life. Ah, the peak. It's so lush. It's so green. You drive down those highways in South Carolina, it's just like a jungle enveloping you. It's so beautiful. And the people are so nice. And everything is so clean. I mean, you go out and you walk. If I go out in California, if you've been to, say, like Santa Monica during COVID, the entire city smelled like piss. You couldn't even go to the pier. You couldn't even go there. The odor of rancid piss was so overwhelming everywhere in Santa Monica that you just wanted to throw up. And these are $5 and $6 million, $7 million homes. A modest house in Santa Monica costs $7-8 million, and you're living knee deep in piss. Venice Beach, good luck. Gonna step on a needle if you don't get knifed. I mean, and I love Venice. I love Venice. I love characters. I love people. I love cultures. I love oddballs. I'm a bit of an oddball myself. Oh, guys, sorry. Let me see what's going on. Sorry, I got to send a. Oh, people just wondering where the hell I am. Wasn't there a fat guy living here earlier? Where the hell did he go? I don't know. Probably went out for a quesadilla. Um. Anyway, yeah, I'm jealous of you living in Charleston. I want to go back immediately, guys. If I love the South, which I do, what city would you recommend if you guys have traveled around? If you guys have traveled around the South a lot, maybe you're from the South, and just keeping in mind, I love Charleston. Places I'm considering visiting are Savannah, Nashville. We'd like to, go through North Carolina. Where's the best place to visit for a nice vacation and trying not to work? Can you even afford to pay attention or buy a home? Oh, there's plenty of places you could buy a beautiful home. I grew up a lot in the Central Valley in Central California, the breadbasket of the world, or the Bible Belt of California. You could buy a beautiful home up there in one of the smaller towns, Fresno, wherever, Oakdale, Houston, Stockton. Beautiful homes you can buy, but not in Los Angeles, not in San Diego, not in Orange County. Even like Inland Empire, Riverside, San Bernardino, Those homes are probably above the 400,000 mark, but you can find them. Yeah, definitely. Oh, Low Country, Hot Springs, Arkansas. Billy Jack. I like it. Yeah, I've been to Arkansas quite a bit. I used to travel a lot for work. I was doing running a not running, but I was doing aerospace sales and different stuff. And I used to go all over the place, different factories, different customers. But it's never that enjoyable because it was always like one job to the next, no rest for the weary. And they didn't. My boss did not leave me any time to like recreate or sightsee. It's like flight in, meeting, flight out. 2 hours later, wouldn't even leave me time to have a meal. It's like, get back on the plane. Get your fat ass back on the plane. I have so many options on where you can go and hang in the Southeast being from here. Yeah, I think maybe when I retire, like to move somewhere in the South. I don't know. Of course, I got to run it by my boss, Princess J. But she loves the South too. Man, it was just a wake-up call because while I do love California, I think we could learn a lot from the South. And I think they could learn a lot from us in some respects. Like I said, I just don't think any place is perfect. I think every place has its ups and downs, strengths and weaknesses, but California could be a beautiful, beautiful paradise, but politicians have to get real. Politicians have to recognize the reality that certain things work, certain things don't work. And, you know, I don't know, guys. I can't solve politics. It's so fucked up because everybody's in it for themselves. Everybody wants to be a celebrity. Nobody wants to solve problems. Nobody wants to solve any goddamn problems, which is their job. It's to make our lives better. That's why we elect them, don't we? Or now we elect them just because we hate the other side. I don't know. It's so stupid. Cutting off your nose to spite your wiener. Cutting off your wiener to spite your face. Cutting off your testicles to spite your mother-in-law. Doesn't make sense. Don't do it. Hot Springs. Anyway, guys, yeah, if you can, if you don't have time here, just maybe leave a comment. Where do you think the best couple of cities to visit in the South would be? Guys, I'm going to go through these super quickly because I did promise to give you my 10 reasons to buy. Yeah, I kind of used AI on this, but you know, not completely. So this is just a few reasons. I'm going to go number one, record battery swap usage, real network effects. NIO just hit 100 million battery swaps. Let me at least pull up something with NIO since we're talking about NIO. But yeah, record battery swap usage. NIO just hit 100 million battery swaps, proving massive real world adoption and stickiness. Battery swapping takes 3 minutes and saves users 83.41 million hours to date in terms of sitting there waiting for your vehicle to charge. Because remember, most people in cities in China that have money to buy these vehicles do not live in single family homes. This is not American urban sprawl, suburbia, Truman Show. This is not that. They live in high rises, they live in dense urban environments where they do not have the option to charge at home. That's why battery swap is so goddamn popular in China. Battery swap, this number two, battery swap infrastructure. And these are in no particular order of importance, it's just kind of random. I put them together. I asked a bunch of different AIs and I put some of my own in here. So battery swap infrastructure is scaling aggressively. He already operates 3,800 battery swap stations, plans 1,000 more in 2026, plus expansion of Power Jersey Silk Road routes. This is the EV equivalent of owning the gas station network. Number three, ES8 demand remains strong and production is scaling. ES8 launch drove a major surge in deliveries with production ramping from less than 300 to over 8,000 vehicles a day. And they sourced that from StockTwit, so take that with a giant grain of salt, as you should take everything you hear here to Unpoco Moss. By the way, it is Unpoco Moss, so I give you just a little bit more. I need a sip of my mini water because I've been talking for an hour and 4 minutes without taking a breath. And my tiny wing is exhausted. Oh. Anyway, number four, improving margins and cost controls are now visible. I talked about that. NIO guided for 700 million to 1.2 billion RMB adjusted operating profit in Q4, a major inflection point. This is the first time NIO has shown a credible operating leverage. Number five, first quarter profitability will equal a sentiment reset for the stock. And I already showed you it's already happening in the institutional ownership and the fund sentiment score. You can already see it. You can see it in the short interest. You can see it in every objective data point and piece of evidence that exists. They're going to send this thing up. Technicals, fundamentals, intangibles, unmentionables. Oh, the whites, my dirty undies, dude. The whites. I'm gonna slow down to 15 mph, grab the Uzi, jump. I learned all my investment, especially the Tebedaki method from Walter Sobchak. Kauai Island, South Carolina, just south of Charleston, is a slice of heaven as well. That might have been where my buddy runs his business. I don't know, but there was like a thing where they were gonna shut down the short-term rentals in the place where he was. So he's gonna have to move. Take Princess J to Palmetto Bluff in Bluffton, South Carolina. The Hilton Head. Oh, I love. Yeah, Hilton Head is stunning. I have been there too. Oh man, went there for a conference once. I didn't want to leave. I got to say, some places I go and I'm like, I do love California, but some of it's the only places I go that no other big cities attract me, like Los Angeles. I love Los Angeles. I love flavor. I love culture. I love all different people. I love immigrants. I love art. I love theater. I especially love live music. And we have some of the best stuff you could possibly imagine. That I love sporting events. I love SoFi Stadium. You know, I love my father, Anthony Noto, my biological father, unacknowledged, allegedly, Nafafepo. 6, institutional accumulation is quietly returning. Goldman Sachs increased 57%. We talked extensively about that. It's not only Goldman, not only Jane Street, not only Citadel, not only Bank of America, not only JP Morgan Chase, all the most important, not only BlackRock, all the most important institutional investors are absolutely loading the boat. Number 7, deliveries are re-accelerating with new models. NIO delivered 72,000 vehicles Q2 2025. I don't know why they're going all the way back. They're up 25 to 31% year on year. Sustainability and efficiency improvements reduce long-term costs. NIO increased renewable electricity usage to 57%, cut factory emissions per vehicle by 12%, run green factory awards. Cleaner factories equal lower long-term production costs and better regulatory positioning. Number 9, battery swapping is a global differentiator. NIO holds 2,100 patents in charging and swapping tech, including 1,500 in battery swapping. This is not easily replicable. It is a defensive IP fortress. People ask, why does CATL even need NIO? Why don't they just knock off their battery swap, eat them for breakfast, spit them out, and put them out of business? Because obviously NIO can't compete with CATL. It's a David's little cousin versus Goliath's big brother type of story. It's not even David and Goliath. It's way more, dramatic than that. Because NIO owns the patents. They have to partner with NIO, or they have to pay NIO for every damn swap they do. Because NIO owns all the patents on battery swap. They own the technology. And IP is defensible in China. Believe it or not, they do have patents there. They do have laws there. It actually works. It's not some, failed state like a lot of people would have you believe. I don't agree with their repressive ideological, political system and that type of thing. I believe in freedom of expression. I believe you should be free to criticize your government. That's critical, to democracy, but obviously they're not a democracy. So, it's a different system. Did I believe that makes them, inherently evil? No. I believe the repressive, groupthink makes them inherently evil. Number 10, the stock. And this is the critical thing because I'm a valuation-based investor in addition to being an evidence-based investor. The stock is priced like a distressed automaker, not a growing EV platform. At $5, NIO trades at below 1-time price to sales multiple. Absolutely unheard of for a company with accelerating deliveries, profitable quarter, a global charging moat, strong SUV demand, institutional accumulation. The value disconnect is extreme. Bottom line, asymmetric setup at $5 offers a rare combination of operational inflection, profitability, margins, cross control, demand strength, ES8, L90. We have an L80 coming. We have an ES9 coming. Network mode, 100 million swaps, 3,800 stations, 1,000 more coming. Institutional validation, Goldman rebuilding position. I just named them all. Bank of America, JP Morgan, ultra low valuation, priced like it's dying while the fundamentals are rapidly improving. This is the kind of setup, exactly the kind of setup where mispricing can snap violently. Boom. Nafafepo. Nafafepo. Slay the Day's got 12,000 shares. He knows what time it is. He doesn't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows. Because he's got his shit together. 12,000 shares. Man after my own heart. I got a lot more than that, but I'm a big fucking dope. Let's see. I love the stock. I love the company. I love the cars. It's a car company. This is a car company. They're not building flying robots that come out of your butt. They're not building robotic sharks with laser beams attached to their fins. I don't know why I'm on a Dr. Evil thing. Anyway. I don't know the fuck I'm talking about. Don't listen to me. Nafafepo, guys. Nafafepo. Anyway, that's pretty much all I had. I didn't really have anything at the beginning. Just a bunch of crap. Slay of the Day has been in balls deep in NIO for like 7 years. Sorry, buddy. No, I haven't been in it quite that long, but yeah, I bought some shares before the whole run up. I flipped some shares. I got some shares. I bought some shares too high, but I really bought a lot of shares, back when it just crashed down into the threes. So I was able to lower my average. And I think my average is, I want to say high fives, something like that. High five. You're too slow. You got a tiny wiener. Anyway, guys, tiny wings and mamboos aside, it's been an absolute pleasure. One of the things I do pride myself on is I know people who are like I said, I'm kind of in the center, and I know people who are on the extreme right, and I know people who are on the extreme left, where they just like fell off a cliff. They're so far left. But I just love everybody. I think there's common ground. I wish we could get back to that. I don't think yelling and hating and rioting and protesting and figure out a way to make shit work for people. Hardworking people don't have time for this. People are dying. People are struggling. People can't pay their credit cards. People can't pay their rent. People can't get by with 2 jobs and a side hustle. How the hell are you going to put your kids through college? I don't know. Like I said, I just ask a lot of questions. I don't have any answers. I'm like the Glenn Beck of fat U-turders. I'm just asking questions. Oh my God. I love Glenn Beck. It's so much makeup on. That guy was brilliant. Brilliant actor. That fake crying just killed me. My average was 29 because I had bought 1,000 shares at 44. Hence, I had 10,000 more shares around $4. Wow, dude. That is an aggressive motherfucking move, and I love it. You're a steely-eyed missile man. Got a huge set of kicking balls on you, my friend. Huge kicking balls. That's a French word. Means big strength. Anyway, guys, enough about the male genitalia. Enough about tiny wings. Enough about me. Enough about you. Enough about everything. Let me just leave it at that, guys. It's un poco mas. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys. You have any travel tips? I appreciate it. Thanks, Jay Bizzles. Thanks, Billy Jack, for that. ET Val, thanks for watching. Mr. Premium the Option, the great Mr. Premium the Option. Thank you very much. Yeah, Cali taxes me to absolute death. Bounce Back Blaze likes Texas, and I can respect that. Yeah, I like Texas too. I'm not trying to hate, guys. I'm just you have to acknowledge each state has its problems, and each state has its good points. And individually or as a state or a government, we can all improve. Humility and recognizing the fact that things aren't perfect is very important. Where are Null and Birdie? That's a great question. Need to ban Congress from trading? I don't think you need to ban Congress from trading completely because that's just not realistic. You're kind of curtailing there. But I get your point, Sanjay Leftfoot. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, some of the people on both sides, they do insider trading. It's allowed, and they just, it's like printing money. It's not really fair. But anyway, life isn't fair. I mean, Trump's made billions off of these crypto ventures since being in office. Is that fair? I don't know. It's fair if you're him. fair. It's fair if you're his kids. It doesn't really do much for me. But whatever. I don't make the rules, guys. Nobody elected me to anything. We surely aren't weaker than the last 4 years, but yeah, Trump has taken it down a notch. Yeah, I mean, guys, Biden had a hell of a lot of problems. I mean, I wasn't a Biden. I couldn't see Kamala. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see her on the world stage. I mean, I think like Hillary Clinton's a tough cookie. Kamala, I thought was kind of a lightweight joke, to be honest with you. But they had to throw up somebody. Biden was just, just wasn't happening. Dude was completely mentally not there. So let's see. Yeah, California, I think, would be the third largest economy in the world. Vegan sympathizer, big fuck Trump guy. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't like to put it in those terms, but I would say fuck this foreign policy and trade negotiating tactics. Just because I think it's really bad for our country. Not because I'm anti-Trump, because I think it's bad. I don't care who's doing it. When I look at policy, I disconnect it from all the personal stuff. I just think that's bad policy. That's bad for the country. That's what I don't like. It's not a personal thing for me. Thanks, Billy Jack. Yeah, I do a lot of impressions. I used to do, stand-up comedy and stuff. I'm a comedy writer by trade, and I do a lot of different impressions. My Tony Beats is probably Parker. Hey, Tony, is there any way I could just borrow your excavator for a minute? Oh, yeah, sure, Parker. Why don't you go fuck yourself? Grow a mustache like a man and then come talk to me, a clean-shaven little prick. You look like a baby seal. You look like Dan Dolev without the facial hair. Oh, come on, Tony. Can't I just get a little diesel fuel? My claim's going to flood. Many people are going to die. Hey, Parker, sure. Why don't you just go fuck yourself? Are you Scandinavian or not? No, go fuck yourself. I don't know how much Tony Beats impression is worth, but nothing. All right, guys. I got to go home. Peace. Thank you. I'm out.